Good afternoon. My name is Zainab Merchant, and I am about to take you on a journey of growth, perseverance, triumph over bureaucracy, and love towards one's home and community. No one can do everything, but everyone can do something little. And little things add up and become big things, sometimes right before our eyes. Composting isn't just for cooks, it's for everyone who throws out leftovers, stale bread, organic waste of fruits and vegetables. It's for everyone. Most of us generally recycle plastic and papers and have assigned bins for it. So, what is stopping us from recycling food waste? Food scraps are number one material sent to landfills. Throughout the world, about 500 billion plastic bags that carry food are used and tossed out. These take 100 years to decompose. This is unsustainable because we have so much waste and we do not know what to do with it. All this results in an unhealthy environment for everyone and everything. So you may wonder as to what the solution might be. Let me walk you through the journey of composting. What is composting? Compost is simply decomposed organic material. The organic material can be plant material or animal matter. While composting might seem mysterious or complicated, it is really simple and is a natural process that continuously occurs in nature, often without the assistance of mankind. Why should we compost? There are a plethora of good reasons to compost. First and foremost, it saves money. It also saves resources, improves the quality of our soil, and reduces greenhouse gases in two ways. It reduces carbon emissions from vehicles that transport the food waste and reduces the impact of chemical fertilizers that run off into our bayous, lakes, and streams. How do we compost? There are four ways of composting. There's the three-pile system, which is arresting compost piles, requires 3 to 6 months without disturbance except water. There's the active compost pile, the pile that compost materials are allowed to be added to. There's the storage compost pile, where unprocessed and completed compost may be kept, and the aerobic composting, which uses aerobic microorganisms to break down organic waste. So, what does composting require? There are only four materials that are used: water, air, decomposers, and equal amounts of browns and greens. Now, the browns are going to be things that are tree matter, dead leaves, branches, sawdust, pine needles, anything that is typically dry. And the green are going to be more wet stuff like grass clippings, vegetable waste, food scraps, coffee grounds, etc. Now remember, you do not want to put any meat, dairy, oil, or bread in your compost because those are going to rot and attract pests, which would be terrible. Vermicomposting is also a type of composting. It is aerobic composting with the use of worms as decomposers. It has the same materials of a compost, but the only additive is the red wriggler worms. They're used in vermicomposting because they prefer darkness and communities. It is recommended to do composting outdoors, but if you live in an apartment and wish to compost, it's a tad bit trickier and does require a lot more maintenance. How do we make a compost? There are 5 simple ways to make a compost. You choose a place, add the ingredients, add water as needed, keep things moving, and wait for a while. How can compost help us to live more sustainably, you may ask? By turning our rubbish into compost, because 30% of our rubbish, food waste, and trash becomes landfill. The more landfill we create, there will be less place to put our trash, rubbish somewhere. Let's dive into the benefits of composting. Compost is known as black gold because of its excellent soil amendment. It reduces the need for watering, pesticides, and petroleum-based chemical fertilizers. The nutrients in compost releases slowly, which reduces harmful agricultural runoff. Compost builds soil structure, and it closes an important loop. What leaves homes and restaurants as waste returns as food. If composting is so beneficial, then why is it not widely practiced? It's because municipal communities do not have composting programs set up. People don't have much knowledge about biodegradable waste, what goes in the compost and out of it. People are worried that compost might attract wild animals. So, how can we as a community get people to start composting? Make a compost collection so that residents do not have to keep their compost bins for a longer period of time. We can also introduce composting programs in schools so we can educate students and people about composting. We can encourage residents to come up with new ideas to create bins that will conceal better to reduce odor and keep animals away from compost. In the end, I would like to conclude by saying that we all consume food, and wasted food is a serious problem. So what can we do? And that's the beauty of that question. We can do as much or little as we want. We can give our patronage to food societies, rethink leftovers, organize our fridge, become a mindful shopper, start composting by being sure to follow backyard recommendations. So don't worry about trying to do everything, but everyone can do something little. We can remake waste into an asset, putting it back into our food system to make it more sustainable. To sum up my entire presentation, I would like to show all of you a small clip.
Is a pile of green organic matter, like food, garden waste, or manure, that has been mixed with brown organic matter, such as leaves, straw, or wood chips. Over time, the compost pile decomposes or breaks down into soil. Billions of tiny creatures help with this breakdown, including worms and fungus, and bacteria. Compost is very rich in nutrients and can be used in gardens and fields to grow crops and to heal soil.
I hope you enjoyed this presentation, and if you have require any other further information on composting, please visit the APA website. Thank you for being such a great audience.